The ultimatum from the stars. The massive Zyrexian warship descended through Earth's atmosphere with deceptive grace, its obsidian hull absorbing sunlight rather than reflecting it. Military analysts noted that its size, nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern, was clearly meant to intimidate. As it settled above the designated landing zone in Geneva, its anti-gravity field kicked up dust, despite hovering 50 meters above the ground. Admiral Elena Hassan stood tall on the reception platform, her decorated uniform crisped despite the warm summer air. Behind her, 12 representatives from Earth's Unified Defense Council maintained perfect posture, their faces betraying none of the anxiety that gripped humanity since the alien vessel had appeared at the edge of the solar system 3 days ago. "Remember," Admiral Hassan whispered to her colleagues, "we show strength through dignity, not aggression." The underside of the warship shimmered and reconfigured, forming an elegant ramp that extended downward. 6 armored guards emerged first, their crystalline armor catching the sunlight. They carried weapons that resembled spears but hummed with energy that made the air around them distort slightly. Then came Grand Admiral Vexra of the Zyrexian Empire, a figure that dominated the scene not just through physical presence, but through an aura of absolute authority. Standing nearly 9 feet tall, Vexra's iridescent scales shifted colors with each movement, a biological display meant to signal dominance among the Zyrexian species. 4 golden eyes surveyed the human delegation with unconcealed contempt. "We expected more," Vexra said, the translation device at her throat converting complex harmonics into English. "Your civilization's existence has been noted in our archives for barely a century. Yet here you stand, pretending to be equals." Admiral Hassan stepped forward with a measured bow, not too deep to suggest submission, but respectful enough to acknowledge the visitor's status. "Grand Admiral Vexra, Earth welcomes you. I am Admiral Elena Hassan, representing the unified Earth government. We are honored by your presence." Vexra's head tilted slightly, secondary eyelids blinking in a pattern that human xenopsychologists would later identify as amused disbelief. "Honor has nothing to do with my visit, Admiral. The Zyrexian Empire has expanded for 12,000 years without interruption. Your solar system sits at a strategically valuable hyperspace junction. Your presence here is inconvenient." Several members of the Earth delegation shifted uncomfortably, but Admiral Hassan had been selected for this role precisely because of her unflappable demeanor. "Perhaps we can discuss mutually beneficial arrangements that would." "There is nothing to discuss," Vexra interrupted, her translator unable to fully mask the sharp tones beneath. "The Zyrexian Empire requires this system. Your species will be relocated to a suitable colony world where you may continue your existence under our protection." A heavy silence fell over the landing platform. Even the birds that normally filled the Geneva sky seemed to have gone quiet. "With respect, Grand Admiral," Hassan replied evenly, "Earth is our home. We cannot accept relocation." For the first time, Vexra's attention seemed fully focused on the human before her. Her scales shifted to a deeper blue, a change that her guards responded to by tightening their formation. "You misunderstand, Admiral Hassan. This is not a negotiation. It is a courtesy. The alternative to relocation is extinction. Your primitive defenses cannot withstand even a single Zyrexian battlecruiser, let alone the fleet that waits beyond your moon." Admiral Hassan maintained her composure. "We request time to consult with our full government." "You have 72 of your Earth hours," Vexra said dismissively. "We will return for your answer, though there is only one acceptable response." With that, she turned and ascended the ramp, her guards following in precise formation. As the massive ship rose into the sky, General Takeda moved beside Admiral Hassan. "That went about as expected," he murmured. "Yes," Hassan replied quietly. "They believe exactly what we wanted them to believe." Inside the ultra-secure chamber 500 meters beneath the Swiss Alps, 24 individuals sat around a circular table. These were not just representatives. They were the actual leaders of Earth's unified government, a structure hidden from the public eye. and known only to those with the highest security clearances. Director Zhang of Global Intelligence pulled up a holographic display showing the Zyrexian vessel in orbit. Their scans are continuous but superficial. They've detected our visible military installations, our satellite network, and our modest orbital defense platforms. And nothing else? President Okafor asked. Nothing. Director Zhang confirmed with the hint of a smile. Operation Phantom Shield remains undetected. Our stealth technology is generations beyond their scanning capabilities. Admiral Hassan, freshly returned from the meeting with Vexra, addressed the group. The Zyrexians are completely convinced of their technological superiority. Grand Admiral Vexra spoke to us as one might speak to children, with condescension barely masked as patience. General Alvarez, commander of Earth's Space Force, stood up. It's time to activate the defense grid. We've been preparing for first contact for over a century. Project Aegis is ready. A murmur went through the room. Project Aegis represented the single largest secret ever kept by humanity, a unified defense system that had been built in absolute secrecy since the first detection of alien radio signals in 2047. Not yet, cautioned Director Chen of Strategic Operations. If we reveal our capabilities too soon, we lose the element of surprise. The Zyrexians believe we're defenseless primitives. That misconception is our greatest advantage. President Okafor nodded slowly. Director Chen is right. We maintain the facade of vulnerability while completing final preparations. She turned to General Alvarez. What's the status of the fleet? The general activated his secure tablet, displaying a classified star map of the solar system. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, beneath the surfaces of moons, and in the clouds of the gas giants were hundreds of green dots, Earth's secret armada. The Sentinel fleet is at 98% combat readiness, General Alvarez reported. All 200 warships are fully crewed and armed. The planetary defense grid is operational, and our quantum shield generators can be activated within 60 seconds of the command. Admiral Hassan studied the display. And they suspect nothing. Our stealth technology works perfectly, Alvarez assured her. We've been running drills right under their sensors without detection. President Okafor stood, her decision made. We proceed as planned. Admiral Hassan will meet with Vexra again when she returns in 3 days. We'll appear to reluctantly accept their terms while requesting a reasonable preparation period, perhaps 1 month for orderly evacuation preparations. During which time, General Alvarez continued, we'll position our fleet for maximum strategic advantage and finalize our battle plans. Director Zhang raised a cautionary hand. We should be prepared for immediate hostilities. The Zyrexians may not grant us the time we request. Agreed, President Okafor said. All military personnel will move to heightened alert status, but we maintain the appearance of a primitive civilization facing an impossible choice. She looked around the table at humanity's leaders. 2 centuries of preparation have led to this moment. We will not fail. 3 days later, Admiral Hassan once again stood on the Geneva platform as the Zyrexian vessel descended. This time, she was accompanied only by a small delegation, a deliberate choice to suggest resignation and defeat. Grand Admiral Vexra appeared visibly pleased as she descended the ramp. Your answer, Admiral Hassan. Hassan stepped forward, her expression carefully crafted to show reluctant acceptance. The people of Earth have considered your generous offer of relocation. We request a preparation period of 1 standard month to organize our population for transport. Vexra's scales rippled with satisfaction. The Empire is not unreasonable, Admiral. You may have 14 of your Earth days, what we call a quarter cycle. This should be sufficient for an orderly submission. And if we were to refuse? Hassan asked, the question calculated to reinforce the Zyrexians' belief in human weakness. Vexra's scales shifted to a deep crimson. With a casual gesture, she signaled to her ship. A beam of intense energy shot from the vessel, striking a small uninhabited island in the Mediterranean Sea. Even from Geneva, They could see the flash as the island was vaporized completely, leaving nothing but steam rising from the water. That was one weapons bank. At minimal power, Vexor said calmly, "My ship carries 12 such banks. The fleet waiting beyond your moon carries thousands. Resistance would be brief." Admiral Hassan allowed herself to appear shaken, not difficult given the casual display of destructive power. "We understand, Grand Admiral. 14 days. Excellent," Vexor replied. "We will return with transport vessels to begin the relocation process. Prepare your people, Admiral Hassan. The Zyrexian Empire welcomes Earth into its embrace." As the ship ascended once more, Hassan activated the quantum communicator embedded in her wrist, technology far beyond what the Zyrexians believed humans possessed. "Phase 1 complete," she reported quietly. "They've granted us 14 days and believe we're submitting. Initiate Operation Thunderstrike." Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities acknowledged the command. Deep beneath the lunar surface, massive particle accelerators powered up. In the clouds of Jupiter, cloaked platforms began manufacturing antimatter at unprecedented rates. And in secure bunkers across Earth, military commanders received their final orders. The countdown had begun. 14 days until humanity would reveal its true face to the galaxy. In her private quarters that evening, Admiral Hassan reviewed the final defense plans. The holographic display showed the positions of Earth's hidden fleet, distributed strategically throughout the solar system. 2 centuries of secret technological development had given humanity weapons and defenses that the Zyrexians couldn't imagine. "They think they're dealing with primitives," she whispered to herself. "They're about to meet warriors." Humanity's shocking response. 14 days passed with remarkable speed. Throughout Earth, civilians went about their daily lives, largely unaware of the existential threat looming above them. The world governments had decided against mass panic, instead implementing a cover story about diplomatic exchanges with newly discovered alien civilization. Only military personnel and essential government officials knew the truth. In orbit around Jupiter, cloaked beneath layers of quantum stealth technology that bent light and sensor readings around them, the pride of humanity's secret fleet waited. The TSS Defender, Earth's first supercarrier, floated silently alongside 20 other massive warships. At nearly 5 kilometers long, these vessels represented the pinnacle of human engineering and ingenuity, ships built in secret over decades. Admiral Kenzo Yamamoto stood on the Defender's bridge, watching as his crew performed final checks on systems that no human had ever used in actual combat. "Status report," he ordered, his voice calm despite the gravity of the moment. "All systems operational, Admiral," his executive officer replied. "Quantum shields at full capacity. Gravitational weapon systems calibrated and ready. The fleet reports combat readiness at 100%. Admiral Yamamoto nodded. "And the rest of our forces?" "The Luna batteries are fully charged. Mars defense grid is online. The asteroid belt minefield is armed and awaiting activation codes. All 200 ships are in position and maintaining stealth protocols." A communication officer turned from her station. "Admiral, we're receiving the signal. The Zyrexian transport fleet has arrived at the edge of the solar system." On the massive view screen, sensors showed over 50 Zyrexian ships entering the solar system. At their center was an enormous vessel that dwarfed even Grand Admiral Vexor's impressive warship, a planetoid-sized craft that preliminary analysis suggested was designed for mass population transport. "Right on schedule," Yamamoto said quietly. "They really believe we're going to surrender without a fight." He opened a secure channel to Earth. "Defender to command. The Zyrexian fleet has arrived, awaiting final orders." President Okafor's voice came through clearly. "The diplomatic team is in position, Admiral. Operation Thunderstrike is authorized. May fortune favor the bold." Admiral Yamamoto straightened his uniform. "Understood, Madam President. We won't let Earth down." He turned to his communications officer. "Signal all ships. Prepare to execute Battle Plan Alpha on my mark. On Earth, Admiral Hassan once again stood on the Geneva platform, watching as Grand Admiral Vexor's ship descended. This time, she was accompanied by what appeared to be a defeated delegation of Earth's highest officials, all of them actually military officers in civilian clothing, with quantum shields discreetly embedded in their attire. Vexor descended the ramp with an air of triumph, her scales shimmering in smug satisfaction. "Admiral Hassan, I see you have prepared for the inevitable. Your cooperation will make this transition far less painful for your species." Hassan bowed her head in apparent resignation. "We are ready, Grand Admiral. Earth submits to the wisdom of the Zyrexian Empire." "Excellent," Vexra purred, her translator conveying her pleasure. "Our transport vessels will begin landing immediately. Your population will be processed efficiently and—" She stopped mid-sentence as her communication device chimed urgently. One of her officers approached, speaking rapidly in the complex harmonic language of the Zyrexians. Vexra's scales shifted to a pale yellow, a color humans would later learn indicated shock and disbelief. "What deception is this?" she demanded, turning back to Hassan with all four eyes narrowed to slits. Admiral Hassan straightened to her full height, dropping the pretense of submission. "No deception, Grand Admiral. Simply a negotiation on more equal terms." Above them, the sky seemed to ripple as Earth's planetary defense grid activated. Thousands of quantum shield generators, hidden in orbit and on the surface, created a shimmering dome of energy that encased the entire planet. "Impossible," Vexra whispered, her translator struggling to capture her disbelief. Hassan smiled for the first time since their meetings began. "You should check on your fleet, Admiral. I believe they're about to receive quite a surprise." In the cold vacuum of space beyond Mars, the Zyrexian transport fleet moved forward confidently. Their sensors showed nothing but a few primitive satellites and a handful of small defensive platforms around Earth, nothing that posed even a minor threat to their advanced vessels. Aboard the Zyrexian command ship, Fleet Commander Threx was overseeing the final approach when his sensor officer cried out in alarm. "Commander, multiple energy signatures appearing throughout the system." "Impossible," Threx replied. "Their technology is primitive. Recalibrate your sensors." "Sir, the readings err." The officer never finished his sentence as the space around the Zyrexian fleet seemed to warp and distort. Throughout the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet deactivated their stealth systems simultaneously. Where empty space had existed moments before, 200 massive warships now floated in perfect formation. From the clouds of Jupiter, from the asteroid belt, from the dark side of Mars and its moons, humanity's secret armada revealed itself in an awesome display of military might. Commander Threx stared at his tactical display in disbelief as hundreds of unknown vessels appeared from nowhere. "What trickery is this? Where did these ships come from?" His weapons officer was already frantically working his console. "Sir, these vessels are unlike anything in our database. Energy readings suggest weapon systems far more advanced than our own. They're deploying some kind of gravitational field technology we've never encountered." "Open a channel," Threx ordered. "Demand their immediate surrender or—" His words died as every ship in the human fleet simultaneously activated their forward lights, illuminating their hulls in a display of coordinated precision. The message was clear. We could have attacked without warning, but we chose to reveal ourselves first. A communication request chimed on the Zyrexian command frequency, a frequency that should have been impossible for any non-Zyrexian technology to access. Admiral Yamamoto's face appeared on the main view screen, his expression calm but resolute. "This is Admiral Kenzo Yamamoto of the Terran Defense Fleet. Your forces are surrounded, and your weapons are outmatched. You will power down your weapon systems immediately and prepare to receive our diplomatic envoys. Any aggressive action will be met with overwhelming force." Commander Threx sputtered in outrage. "You dare threaten the Zyrexian Empire? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We will reduce your planet to ash." Admiral Yamamoto's expression didn't change. "You misunderstand, Commander. This is not a threat. It is reality. He nodded to someone off-screen. Throughout the solar system, Earth's defense grid fully activated. From the lunar surface, massive energy cannons rose from hidden bunkers. In the asteroid belt, millions of automated drone weapons decloaked. From beneath the surface of Mars, enormous missile silos opened, revealing planet-killer warheads aimed directly at the Zyrexian fleet. Your sensors can confirm what I'm telling you. Yamamoto continued calmly. We have spent 2 centuries preparing for this day. Every ship in your fleet is targeted by multiple weapon systems. You cannot win this battle. Commander Threx stared at the tactical display in disbelief as his officers confirmed the impossible truth. They were completely outmatched. The primitive humans had somehow developed technology that surpassed even the Zyrexian Empire's best weapons and defenses. Stand by, he said finally, his pride warring with his duty to preserve his fleet. I must consult with Grand Admiral Vexra. On Earth, Vexra received the communication with growing horror. Her scales had shifted to ashen gray, a sign of extreme distress among her kind. You deceived us, she accused Admiral Hassan, fury and fear battling in her voice. We protected ourselves, Hassan corrected. The Zyrexian Empire has a long history of subjugating primitive species. We simply allowed you to believe what you expected to see. Vexra's guards had raised their weapons, but found themselves surrounded by previously hidden defense drones that had emerged from concealment around the landing platform. The balance of power had shifted dramatically in moments. The Galactic Council will hear of this deception, Vexra threatened, though her posture had become defensive rather than commanding. Yes, they will, President Okafor said, stepping forward from the delegation. In fact, we're counting on it. Humanity wishes to formally petition for recognition by the Galactic Council as a sovereign spacefaring civilization with all associated rights and protections. Vexra's translator couldn't fully capture the complex emotions in her response, but her physical reaction was clear, complete astonishment. You know about the Council? Impossible. We've kept its existence hidden from pre-FTL species for millennia. President Okafor smiled. Grand Admiral, very little about humanity will match your expectations. We've been monitoring galactic communications for over a century. We know about the Council, the Zyrexian Empire standing within it, and most importantly, we know about the laws governing first contact with emerging civilizations, laws your empire has systematically violated for thousands of years. For the first time, Vexra seemed genuinely uncertain. What do you want? Peace, President Okafor said simply. Recognition of Earth's sovereignty and our right to exist without interference. A seat at the galactic table. Nothing more, nothing less. And if we refuse? Admiral Hassan gestured to the sky, where the planetary shield shimmered with power. Then we defend ourselves. But I suspect the other members of the Galactic Council might be very interested to learn that the feared Zyrexian Empire was completely outmaneuvered by a species they considered primitive. Vexra was silent for a long moment, her scales slowly shifting from gray to a more neutral blue as she regained her composure. You understand that revealing yourselves like this changes everything. The galaxy will know of humanity now. That was always the plan, President Okafor responded. We just preferred to choose the timing ourselves, rather than being discovered unprepared. 3 weeks later, in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations watched in stunned silence as humanity presented its case for recognition. The evidence was irrefutable. Earth had developed technology that in some areas surpassed even the oldest galactic civilizations, all while remaining hidden from detection. Ambassador Chen, Earth's first official representative to the Council, concluded her presentation with quiet confidence. Humanity does not seek conflict. We seek cooperation, trade, and mutual understanding. But make no mistake, we will defend our sovereignty with every resource at our disposal. The Council chamber erupted in discussion. The Zyrexian delegation sat in unusual silence, their empire's reputation for invincibility shattered by the revelation of humanity's hidden capabilities. Reports were already spreading throughout the galaxy of the massive human fleet that had appeared from nowhere, of weapons technologies that could neutralize even Zyrexian warships without firing a shot. In the observation gallery, Admiral Hassan watched with satisfaction as the Council voted overwhelmingly to recognize Earth as a sovereign power with all rights and protections under galactic law. Beside her, Admiral Yamamoto stood in his formal dress uniform, the insignia of Earth's unified defense force gleaming under the chamber's lights. 2 centuries of preparation, Hassan said quietly. Our ancestors would be proud. Yamamoto nodded. They believed that humanity could only enter the galactic stage from a position of strength. They were right. As Earth's official recognition was announced, cheers erupted from the human delegation. For the first time in known history, a supposedly primitive species had not only defended itself against a galactic power, but had done so without firing a single shot. The message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity had arrived, and the stars would never be the same again.